Au courant culture war issue, the teaching of critical race theory, or CRT, to K through 12 students.
So what is this meeting about? It's about textbooks, books filled with Marxist, communist, racially divisive ideologies.
CRT is a decades-old academic idea centering the role of racism in cultural and political life. But in the current debate, its meaning is ill-defined.
This critical race theory urges intolerance of all human beings that have been created in the image of God.
I do not agree with teaching children how to feel about things. That is called indoctrination.
I'll be damned if I will allow a Marxist revolution to take place in this country, and we need to reject our children even being taught it.
The Department of Education, Corcoran personally has said that he has directed his staff to go out to all of the publishers and get this critical race theory and all of its tentacles out of the existing materials that have been approved.
Keith Flaw is the founding director of the Florida Citizens Alliance, a conservative group that crusades against curricula it deems insufficiently patriotic or excessively progressive.
What did you see in those two books that you looked at? What did you object to?
Critical race theory. What critical race theory boils down to is teaching kids to hate their friends, teaching them to focus on race, rather than focus on character.
So let's look at some of these examples from the K through 5 books that you were objecting to the other day.
What I did was go through the teacher's manuals that are used to teach these books. And what you find is that it builds the foundation for critical race theory, not on the 3 words of critical race theory, but it builds the foundation on culturally responsive training, equity versus equality, social justice. So those are all innocuous terms in many people's minds, but when you look at how the left is now using those to drive the whole perspective of critical race theory.
What is the sentence in here?
I'm not sure there is one.
There isn't.
The terms, see, that's where most
No,
people
I don't even mean the
miss
terms. I mean the concepts. What in the book conceptually do you object to that teachers will read this off?
Culturally responsive training is a whole notion in the book. Equity versus equality is a whole notion.
But that's in the book that the kids will read.
No, that's in the book the teachers are using as a guide to teach the kids.
Do you have the section where it says something about equity over equality? Is equity mentioned in the teacher's guide?
I don't recall. Equity,
really important things that people need to have a great understanding of. And I think what you see now with the rise of this woke ideology is an attempt to really delegitimize our history and to delegitimize our institutions. And I view the wokeness as a form of cultural Marxism. They want to tear... They want to just, it's not just, people say, oh, they're
Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Ha, Rakakwadash Ma'amath. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Double honors to my elder as well, Harwan Ba Yasha'Allah of the Lions Den Camp. And salutations to the fellow Akim, Wafim and children that believe in truth and sincerity. It's your brother Atanyala back to another lesson in Yahweh Tazah's edifying. And this pretty much is going to be highlighting the CRT, the critical race theory. All right, pretty much it's been talked about, and just more going depth and edification on what it actually really is, and what they're doing here in Florida pertaining to the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, and the whole Stop Woke Act, and basically how they don't even know and have the proper understanding of what critical race theory even is. They just know they don't want truth to be spoken, and that's what we're going to clearly prove and show you to, with this lesson, as the title of the main video that I showed, like a snippet of the video, which is basically this Vice video, and all for edification purposes. And I'm not going to play it, all right? I already played what I wanted and needed to play, and prior to this video, prior to me speaking. All right, but as you can see, the title says Florida banned critical race theory, but can't define what it is, right? Because as you hear these Edomites, because that's predominantly who's speaking on the critical race theory, because that's the only one who really cares about what's being spoken when it comes down to the truth, all right? And when it comes down to so-called quote unquote, as they labeled it, woke ideology. All right. Which is combating their their education system, man. Which educate means to lay out, man. You know, and they lay out what they want you to know. All right. And ultimately they hide and omit and deprive of the people of what they don't want the people to know. All right. And this is critical race theory in the Wikipedia. And it's a cross-disciplinary intellectual movement that began in the U.S., all right, in Babylon, in the post-civil rights era, all right? And we know pre is before and post is on the back end of something, at the end, after the fact, all right? So after the civil rights era, all right, as the 60s landmark civil rights laws were being eroded and schools were being resegregated, with racial inequalities persisting, right, still existing, even after civil rights legislation was enacted, CRT scholars in the 1970s and 80s began reworking and expanding critical legal studies, theories on class and economic structure and the law to interrogate the role of Babylon law, right, of U.S. law in perpetuating racism, right? So ultimately, critical race theory was supposed to be for the benefit of the so-called minority. All right, it was supposed to be for the benefit of the so-called, which is the majority, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Where it could be exercised in the law. All right, the government could be interrogated on its laws and its policies as far as if they're equal. All right, you know, and if anywhere in those laws and policies of America, all right, in the U.S. law, if it is watered down and it deprives a particular group of people from one thing versus the next, which it does, all right, because this system is built to deprive you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and Seminole Indians and those of the speckled bird who may look like the other nations but bear the same spirit as such. All right, this system is ultimately set up to deprive the Lord's children, the Lord's people of prosperity, man. You know, because this is not our rest. All right. So the only way this devil can rule is for him to continue on in his lies. And he's seeing that these things are coming up to bite him. All right. Because the truth is spoken. All right. Now, one of the scriptures I want to bring out, all right, is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 24. I'll start at. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. Right, man, they're found, man, and they're caught. You know, and I want to just bring out this specific scripture and verse specifically because they're trying to hide their hand, man. They're trying to hide from their wicked deeds and their acts, which ultimately established their kingdom, man, which is rape, robbery, and murder. All right, the pillaging of the Lord's people, man, the touching of the apple of his eye, man, you know, the persecution of the Israelites, man, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. That's ultimately how they was able to establish the kingdom, you know, which clearly shows that they want to take away the truth and they want to hide their works, man. You know, when it comes to their education, they don't want to no longer teach about things like slavery. And they want to more so focus on the Constitution and how it was built and the foreign fathers. And, you know, when all that is lies, man. You know, they're totally against the scriptures, man. If the forefathers really believed in the scriptures, they will uphold the laws that they have created from the scriptures, man. But hey, I want Psalms 96 and 20, I believe. 94. Let me try Psalms 94 and 20. Salakia. Bear with me. Khan. And this Psalms 94 and 20, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? Right. Ultimately, their laws is set up and placed to frame their mischief, man. Their vanity. All right. That's how they set up and hide their hand, man, and do what they want to do with the people, man. You know, and they can choose and decide, all right, what type of judgment they're going to give from this type of group of people from the other, man. All right. Mainly Esau, Edom, gets a slap on the wrist, and Jake get baseball numbers, football numbers, and get thrown away and incarcerated in jail, man, a bond man for the rest of his life. All right, you know, so this system is created ultimately against us, man. And if the critical race theory was of any benefit of our people, they would have quickly saw that, man. They would have quickly seen that. Psalms 83, all right? In Psalms 83 and verse 1, keep not thy silence, O power, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance, man. That's ultimately what they came together and do. The ambassador of the heathen, all right, being Esau, Edom, the so-called Caucasian race, right? And the heathen, you know, itself, man. All right, the rest of the heathen, man. They basically co-conspired, all right, to cut off the Lord's people, man, to hide the truth from the Lord's people, man. You know, of who their true power is, man. That their power is the one and only power, man. The power of heaven and earth, man. The creator of all things. All right. This is verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, right? Esau. All right. Let me get this in the scriptures as well. I got more notes. The tabernacles of Edom, right? Esau, Edom, all right, the so-called Caucasian race, all right, which they self-proclaim themselves to be white today, which is a social construct that they created to hide their identity, all right? They're Esau, Edom, all right, red, all right? And the Ishmaelites, right, the Arabs of Moab, the so-called Chinese, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, which would be African nations, Hagarenes and Gabal, and Ammon, the so-called Japanese, and Amalek, where it mentions Esau again, pertaining to the fake Jews, the Khazars, Amalek, all right, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, you know, so all these nations, all right, these heathen nations have co-conspired with Esau, Edom, to cut us off from being a nation, man. You know, and if the critical race theory, you know, if it was going to cross disciplinary intellectual movement to interrogate the role, if it was really interrogating the role that the U.S. law system holds, all right, they'll find that it's perpetuating racism, man. You know, and that is completely unbalanced when it comes down to laws, man, righteousness, you know, in this society, man. You know, and as you can, hey, you heard the video, all right? They say they don't want that being taught to their children, all right? But hey, the scriptures say, man, train up the child the way he shall go, you know, which, hey, this shows that they're not the people of the Lord, man, you know? You know, hey, this is basically them trying to play semantics with the definition of critical race theory, because they know, hey, Jake don't go out and do research himself and figure out what it is. All right, they're playing semantics with the definition of CRT and basically trying to use that as a template to get rid of their wicked deeds, man. You know, get rid of their wicked works and their history of what they're done, you know, so they don't have to teach that history in schools, man. They're trying to wipe away their iniquity in their history, man. But the Lord is exposing it, man. That's why we brought out Jeremiah 50 and 24. All right. And there's other scriptures as far as how we go be found in his devil hands. All right. You know, so it's all type of evidence that's being built up against this devil. All right. By way of our Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. And ultimately it's going to cause this devil to be found, man, and caught. All right. His iniquities has reached up to the heaven, man. You know, they would have healed Babylon, but it can't be healed. And this Exodus 21:16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death, man. And Esau's going to be guilty of that, because we've been brought over here through the transatlantic slave trade. through the Nina Pinta and the Santa Maria, through slavery, man, where this devil was able to pillage and touch the apple of the Lord's eye to ultimately build his kingdom. We go through the curses as the people of the Lord, spoken of in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 to 68. We're the people that that hang in doubt, man. And this is Deuteronomy 28 in verse 66. And it reads, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. And that's, we're the people who we don't get no rest here, man. The laws are even against us, to where Jake, he get caught with the war on drugs, man. Was ultimately set up through Ronald Reagan, for our people, man. And now it's coming upon them, where it's Esau, Edom can't even bear a pain pill. They're falling to opiate epidemic. All right, but they had hard drugs like real Schedule 1 drugs like heroin and crack in our societies, man. Where in Jake, you have a term called a functional crackhead, a functional, where Jake he'll get 100 years for the drug or the narcotic if found, where Esau get a program, And this is that's the epitome of what we brought out in Psalms 94 and 20, man. We go bring it out again in Psalms 94 and 20, just real quick, on how the throne of iniquity shall have no fellowship with thee, because why? They frameth mischief by a law, They set up laws in place and ultimately tell you that they established their laws through the Constitution. They established their laws and their Constitution from the Bible, which is all lies, man. These people are not the people of the Lord, man. This Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou should take my covenant in my mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction and casteth my words behind thee? Right, even to the point of helping the overthrow of our kingdom, man. Saying raise it. All right, they ultimately have to pay, man. The Lord has built up evidence on top of evidence from the ancient times until now, to where you can't hide yourself. All right. And ultimately, they hate the truth, and they're trying to take the truth out of the schools, man. And this is Amos chapter 5 and I start at verse 10. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly, man. God, man, they hate him that rebuketh in the gate, man. And that's 2/3 of our people as well, and mainly the heathen, Esau, Edom, as believe it's in the book of Malachi, how the name of the Lord is dreadful among the heathen, man. They hate to see the Lord people waking up, man, coming to the realization of who they are, man, that they're royalty, man, and that they're gonna rule one day, man, in righteousness, man, So they hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. For as much, therefore, as your treading is upon the poor, and ye take from him burdens of wheat, ye have built houses of hewn stone, but ye shall not dwell in them. Ye have planted pleasant vineyards, but ye shall not drink wine of them. For I know your manifold transgressions and your mighty sins. They afflict the just, they take a bribe, and they turn aside the poor and the gate from their right. And that's Esau, Edom, man. He knows your works, man. The eyes of the Lord is 10,000 times brighter than the sun. So as much as they want to hide away from their history, their heritage, all right, they can't run from it, man. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and I start at verse 5. Yet also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. Right, he's full of pride because he transgresseth by wine. A wicked philosophy that's contrary to what the Lord established, for quote unquote humanity, for man. Neither keepeth at home, who entangleth his desire is hell, and is as death. Right, he is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Right, he's a grape gatherer. He's a niggard, won't leave not one gleaning grape. And that's why they call America the melting pot, because you have all type of kindreds and tongues and people here from all type of nations to add on to the fire, man, to the iniquity, of this damn devil, and they were drawn in by what? His philosophy, he's playing as God. This verse 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that latheth himself with thick clay. Right, and going to that word clay, it means depth. So how long, man? And it's ultimately go take up a parable against him, man, and a taunting proverb against him, man. Because ultimately he's gonna reap what he sow. All right. And I'll continue on. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? They're gonna be prey eventually, man. Let's go and get that right quick. Booties. Spoil. Right, for spoil, man. Right, because you spoil the people, ultimately, they're gonna spoil you. All right. You're gonna reap what you sow, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Right, and how was the land cleansed, man? By the blood that shedded that blood, man. Ultimately. Verse 9, woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, and woe represents destruction. And Esau has clearly blessed the evil covetousness to his house, thinking that he can rape, rob, and murder and pillage the apple of the Lord's eye, all right, and build up a kingdom, all right, which he won't have a pot to piss in if it wasn't for the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? And try to wipe away the history of how he built this kingdom, man. The Lord forbid, man. So back in Habakkuk 2 and 9, woe to him that coveteth evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Right. You're not going to be delivered from the power of evil. The Lord see you, man. Verse 10, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people. Right. And you cut off the apple of the Lord's eye, most importantly, man. And we brought that out in Psalms 83. How you tried to cut them off from being a nation. And right now, how you trying to use the critical race theory, which was created by so-called activists from the civil rights era to exercise and to infiltrate and to interrogate the laws of America, man. Whether they're just or not, whether they're equal in the balance, man. Because ultimately, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, man. So it was ultimately set up for the benefit of the Lord's people, man. But here you see Esau, Edom using it and playing semantics by taking the critical race theory and turning it around as far as, it's being used to teach racism in the schools or so on and so forth, man. And when the guy was being asked that and to show an example, he couldn't show it. He's sitting at the table stuttering, all right? And that shows, hey, you have a division as well, man, because you have two type of Edomites. You have Edomites who see the works of their forefather and don't want to bear the iniquity of their forefathers. And you got the ones who don't care and want to try to brush it up under the rug, like that individual that was sitting at the table, man. But as the scriptures say, man, their tongue shall fall upon themselves. All right, we'll hold Habakkuk and get Psalms right quick. This Psalm 64 and 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. You know? And that's ultimately what you're going to have, man. You're going to have their own people not wanting to bear the iniquity of their forefathers, man. But as the scriptures say, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, man. I believe that's Isaiah 14:21. All right. So even though they don't want to wear that coat, all right, it's a straitjacket, man. You know, the Lord is going to judge nations, man. You know, you as an individual as a whole, but ultimately he's going to judge your nation. All right. And if you're if you claim yourself to be so-called, all right, or self-proclaim yourself to be white, all right, or so-called Caucasian, all right, you're an Edomite, all right, you descend from Esau, all right, in the scriptures, and that's what the Lord called you, Esau, Edom, all right, and it's a judgment for being a descendant from that nation, man, you know, because ultimately the spirit is not upright in you, man. You're a damn liar from the womb. The spirit is not upright in you. You know, you hate the Lord, man. You know, and that's why you're trying to get rid of the critical race theory, you know, and misuse the meaning of critical race theory and play as if racism is being taught in the schools when it is, man. You know, we're in the information age where the things that you taught, like Alexander the Great and things like that, we can find that in the scriptures now, man. You know, you called him Alexander the Great, man, in your secular history, and you teach that in history, all right, U.S. history, which is an elective in your education system, all right. You know, you learn about Alexander the Great and these so-called conquerors who are colonizers ultimately, you know. So you've been exposed, man. And this is back in Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 10. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. Right. You know, the soul is not upright in him, man. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establisheth a city by iniquity. You know, and again, woe represents destruction, man. And that's what Esau Edom has ultimately established and put upon himself, man. You know, and that's why the Lord, he set a trap for you, man. You know, and through your pride, thinking that you're going to continue on in this madness, in this society that you built off blood and the touching of the apple of the Lord's eye, all right, is ultimately coming back to bite you in the ass, man, so to speak. You know, so this Habakkuk 2 and 13, behold, it is not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity. Right, this place go continue on forever. All right, and wicked continue on, and the wicked establish wickedness, and wickedness reign forever. The Lord forbids, man. You know, righteousness is gonna rule, man, and that's what's gonna be forever, man. Righteousness, man, the kingdom of our Lord Yahweh Shai, all right, which dwelleth righteousness, man. You know, verse 14. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. Woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Right, and that's what Esau is trying to do, to try to take away their history of in slavery, man, and try to take away those teachings out of the school, as if they don't exist. He want to rock you to sleep, so to speak, man. You know, he wants to cause you to be drunken to where you don't see or you don't hear what's going on, you know. So this Habakkuk 2 and 15, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Right, and look upon their nakedness, you know. And they try to bring that accusation to the Lord, man. You know, they look at them, man. They don't care about their power, you know. Hey, and they suffer not to put the people body in graves, man. And they have the pride to look at the Lord's people and it's amazing, man. It's Habakkuk 2 and 16. Thou art filled with the shame for glory. Right. For the violence against thy brother, shame shall cover thee, man. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. Right. Let thy foreskin be uncovered, man. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Right. You know, and that's ultimately the Lord is exposing and putting that filth upon this damn devil, man, and his kingdom. All right. And make it a gazing stock. And this is the book of Nahum, chapter 3. And I start at verse 1. Woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. Right, Khan, man. You know, and this right here just highlights the whole lesson, you know, of how they try to get rid of their wicked deeds, man, and works in history, and try to abolish the teaching of slavery in school. All right, and the iniquity of their forefathers and their kingdom. All right, but it's nothing they can do about it. All right, this truth has been casted out throughout the four corners of the earth, and the end is upon us, man. Let me get this right quick. This is Matthew 24:14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Right? You know, in Christianity, Catholic, Muslim, all these things been out here, man. You know, hundreds of years, man. You know, specifically since the Roman Empire, 325 AD, through the Council of Nicaea, where they created religion. All right. And what the word religion mean, man? Religio, meaning to restrain. All right. So they're restraining the people from what they need to know, which is the true wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the Lord, man. The truth. All right. This is the book of St. John 8:32. It's a quick hit. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Con. You know, and that's what's going to make you free, the truth, man. And by this truth being taught, all right, and us seeing our teachers, starting with the apostles of Great Millstone on down, man, and their elders, man, you know, which put things in perspective. Abba Bivens, all right, which is John the Baptist in the scriptures, right? Elijah, you know, ultimately falling into that sheepfold, man. You know, with the hopes of being saved unto the end. You know, we see our teachers, and this devil is clearly being exposed, man. You know, the Lord is exposing this devil. So go back to the book of Nahum, chapter 3 and verse 1. Woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. The noise of a whip and the noise of the rattling of the wheels and of the prancing horses and of the jumping chariots. The horseman lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain, and a great number of carcasses, and there is none in of their corpse. They stumble upon their corpse. You know, they suffered not to put the body in graves, man. You know, not telling the people the truth of the Lord. You know, because in order to tell a lie, you have to know the truth. You know. Verse 4, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. Right, what we've been going into and speaking about when it comes down to the wine and philosophy of this damn devil, and how he heap on to him, and this is a melting pot, you know, due to his wine, his philosophy that drew the people in. All right, and now he's being exposed to not being they're not the people of the Lord, man. The streets of America is not paved with gold. All right. This place is abominable and filthy and vanity, man. It's ultimately against the Lord and the Lord's people. All right. And the Lord is getting ready to put a judgment upon it and wipe it off the face of the earth. It's back in Nahum 3:5. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. You know, and it's starting now. You know, it's already starting. You know, and that's why you have nations like Russia and China, all right, Korea, you know, ultimately just Iran, you know, let the weak say they are strong, you know, ultimately preparing themselves to come against this place, all right, because they're seeing it for the false reality that it is, all right, the facade that it is, man. Verse 6, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock. He's going to set thee as a gazing stock, man. You know, so there's nothing these devils can do. All right. Got a couple more scriptures lined up, and I'll wrap it up. And this is Job 20 and 15. He have swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua shall cast them out of his belly. He shall suck the poison of asps. The viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter, the kingdom. That which he labored for shall he restore, and he shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Because he have oppressed and have forsaken the poor, because he have violently taken away an house which he buildeth not. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. Man, you know, you're gonna reap what you sow. Let me go up a little bit. It's Job 20 and 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung, like his shit. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yeah, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night, man. You know, this devil is about to be in straits, man. And he knows that, and he sees that, you know, and that's why he's trying to do everything in his power to conceal the truth. All right. You know, with truth out here, he can't rule, man. You know, there's no place for darkness when it comes to the light, man. You know, it had nothing to do with it, man. This is Job 27 and verse 16. Though he heap up silver as the dust and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on. Right, the just go put it on. The Lord's go render that judgment upon you and take what's his, man. You know, there's nothing you can give the Lord, man. Everything belongs to the Lord, man. You know, so the Lord's gonna take what's his ultimately and divide it against the just, you know, against his saints, you know. Verse 17, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver. He buildeth his house as a moth, and as a booth that the keeper maketh. The rich man shall lie down, but he shall not be gathered. He openeth his eyes, and he is not. Right. You know, he's going to see Lazarus, which we represent Lazarus, being the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. As we're in a poor state, as we're not in our rest. All right. He's going to see us in the bosom, man. You know, in the kingdom, in the brooks of honey. All right. In Abraham's bosom. All right. Hey, weeping the benefits of the promises, man. You know, that was promised to Abraham, you know, and later passed on from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob, you know, because in Isaac shall the seed be called, man. You know, and Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob later on changed his name to Israel, man, by way of an angel, and begot the 12 tribes, man. You know, which, hey, it all lines up, man. You know, it's no hole in the doctrine, you know, and ultimately, hey, this devil knows that, you know. Hey, and he knows he has but a short time. This Revelations 12 and 12. And Yahweh Ratazah's lesson was edifying. And this Revelations 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Right. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Right. He knoweth that he have but a short time, man. These devils hate truth. You know, they hated them that rebuketh in the gate, you know, and we brought that out, all right? And Yahweh Ratazah's lesson was edifying. So critical race theory, you know, it's ultimately was supposed to be set up for the so-called minority, all right, which is the majority, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It was set up for you, all right, whereas we should have gatekeepers to exercise the law of America, of Babylon, you know, whether it's perpetuating racism or not. Which it is, you know, so critical race theory wasn't really, it was created for our benefit, but it was misused as is being played with today by the governor of Florida, as he wants to, you know, use critical race theory and leads to the Stop Woke Act. You know, they don't want you to be woke. They don't want you to wake up to the truth. You know, and we brought out John 8:32. You know, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. You know, so ultimately, these are not the people of the Lord. They hate the truth. You know, and this system is built up against us, man, and that's why we preach and tell our people to repent and return back to the Lord. All right, so we can get the hell up out of here, man. You know, because this is not our rest. All right, and yeah, they're trying to take away the teachings and their iniquity, you know, and their works and their history away. All right, but the Lord is exposing them. You know, it can't be hid. And Shalom, Mahabatha, and DTA.